We are living in an age where it's more imperative than ever before to work on your mental and emotional health. Our resiliency levels are at rock bottom, and yet our stress levels are through the roof. Our stress tolerance levels are way down, and we're just not coping. So many people are isolated, they feel completely disconnected from their lives, and completely dissatisfied. And I see so many well intentioned coaches talking about, building your confidence and building your self esteem and achieving the life that you've always wanted. And again, this further perpetuates the idea that you are insufficient or inadequate as you are. Likewise, when we're looking at our social media feeds, we're comparing ourselves negatively to other people, and we're constantly giving ourselves this message that we need to have a life that is fueled by acquisition, achievement, success, and it is so soul destroying. I mean, it literally gives us no time to actually just be and appreciate ourselves for who we actually are and find an acceptance for who we actually are. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't have ambition, but we're completely attached to it. We tie all of our worth into it, and that can be a really damaging thing to do because the goalposts never stop moving. You're always going to need something else and something else and something else, and you'll never actually be content with who you are. We don't have the same social structures available to us. I mean, the whole idea of community and having a network around you isn't available anymore. Yes, it's available online, but that's not the same. And I mean, so many people are raising kids and they feel very isolated within their family life. There's a disconnect within the relationship. I mean, they're over reliant on each other, and then they're not able to show up for each other because I suppose we've lost the skills of interaction and of connectedness because of our technology. I mean, everything is done through our phone. We no longer have the tolerance nor the patience necessary for meaningful interaction, and yet we feel lonely, we feel isolated, we feel disconnected, and we feel inadequate. So all in all, we're really, really struggling. Our lives are high stress, and we're just like wandering around like headless chickens, not knowing what to do with all of the advancements that we have available to us. We have low levels of acceptance, really high expectations for what life should be like, and there seems to be no middle ground. And it's about, I suppose, taking it back a little bit, creating awareness. And this is a big one that I work on with clients. And that is, creating awareness of your present moment, no matter what it is, good nor bad. Acceptance and tolerance of both positive and negative emotions. Recognizing what's going on for you. I mean, we have forgotten to take a step back. We're always kind of thinking about what it is that we have to do next or how we compare to another person. Our minds are always in a hurry, and it's about every so often taking a step back and being like, okay, where am I now? What am I actually doing? How do I feel? And doing this as regularly as we can throughout the day so that we're always in touch with ourselves. Likewise, tapping into any emotional pain that we may be carrying from the past. And again, this is work that I do with a lot of clients on a regular basis because oftentimes a lot of our behaviors and our thoughts are the consequence of something that we haven't resolved. So it's about tapping into that, doing the work, and recognizing what it is that drives some of the things that you do that don't actually serve you. Then it's about working on acceptance, accepting yourself for who you are, accepting the fact that you're not in control of everything, that you never were, and that you're never going to be, and being able to tolerate the ups and downs that life brings, because ultimately I think we're all tied into this idea that we're owed happiness. And I mean, happiness again is a very fleeting emotion. It's not a permanent state, so it's not something that we should necessarily fixate on. It's ephemeral, it's gone in a moment. So we need to focus instead, sorry, I nearly lost my breath, on kind of finding ways in which we can be content in our day-to-day life, and ways in which we can be good to ourselves and kind to ourselves and kind to other people. So developing a practice of benevolence and trying to be humble. I mean, again, an awful lot of our misery is as a result of having to be right, or being afraid to be shown up, or being afraid to be seen as inadequate in comparison to other people. The reality is nobody really cares all that much. All of this is all in our head, these feelings of inadequacy, these kind of concepts of imposter syndrome. So it's about understanding that you don't need to be something else in order to rid yourself of these feelings, that you just need to accept yourself for who you are. And I suppose it's questioning as well, as opposed to, okay, how is this affecting me? Or, what do I get from life? If we can kind of switch that around a little bit and ask ourselves, okay, what am I actually giving to others? Or, how am I being kind for myself? And how am I showing up for myself? How am I showing up for other people? Because oftentimes we're so focused on the self. And again, an awful lot of work on social media platforms kind of emphasize, it's all about self-care and it's all about self-love. And I mean, this is a powerful message. However, sometimes it's a little bit misconstrued, because when we're always self-centered, when we're always thinking about our experience, we don't see things from another person's perspective. We're too wrapped up in our own shit. So sometimes we need to be able to take a step out and be like, okay, what's happening for other people? How can I help other people? How can I do something kind for another person? And this can oftentimes take some of your anxiety away, because literally when you're focusing on doing something for somebody else, you're not as focused on what it is that you're experiencing. You're not attaching to your suffering. And there is a difference between acknowledging the fact that you hurt and wallowing in it. And it's about, kind of fully honoring your pain, fully honoring all of your emotional experiences, but not attaching yourself to them. Likewise, another great way to pull yourself out of this kind of anxiety, very emotive state, is to try to incorporate learning opportunities in every aspect of your life wherever possible. Seeing what it is that you can learn from other people, seeing what it is that you can learn about life today, reflecting a little bit, as opposed to always being on autopilot. We tend to just do the same thing, think the same thing, and this is like non-stop, and we don't even stop to notice what it is that our life is actually about, what our life entails. So it's about taking a step back, being very aware of your life and being very alive in your own life, as opposed to doing everything at an automated level. Now, there's a lot of content I'm after covering here, and if you would like more detail on it, get in touch with me on my website. It's fundamentals.ie.